I'm going to explain one concept to four incredible people according to each age and stage: a child, a teenager, a young adult, and a rabbi. So let's begin. I'm speaking to four different people today, and guess which number you are?
1.
Number 1! You're the first person! That's amazing. So we're going to talk about a very special thing called slavery and freedom, which is all about the Chag, the festival that's coming up, which is?
Pesach.
Pesach, amazing. So, I want to ask you a question. What is a slave?
It's someone that works for someone. Like, say I was a slave and I was working for Pharaoh.
And who was the boss in the times of Egypt?
Pharaoh.
And who were the slaves?
The Jewish people.
Oh, you know the special message of Pesach. Now I want to ask, we're going to play a funny game, okay? I want you to take this hand and make a fist. Take this hand and put it on top. Now this hand's job is to keep it closed. This hand's job is to open it. And we're going to see who wins. Go! Oh! So take them out. Which one is the slave? Which one is the Pharaoh? Which one won? Yes, the slaves won and became free. Now I want you to try something completely different. Take Pharaoh away, put it behind your hand, put out your slave hand, and I want you to open it when I say 3. 1, 2, 3. Look how quick and easy that was. You can put your hands back and give your hands a round of applause. Now this is the question. You see, why was this hand able to be free?
Because Pharaoh wasn't covering it anymore, so it was so easy to open it.
Exactly, it was so easy to open it because Pharaoh wasn't there anymore, and that's what we celebrate. Now what do we do with our freedom?
We use it for nice things like giving tzedakah and giving food to poor people. It's like tzedakah but giving food.
Amazing. So we use our freedom to do good things for other people. That's the best thing we can do rather than making other people slaves. Like you said, to give people food and give people tzedakah. So let's use our freedom this Pesach to give extra good things and be extra kind. And let's do lots of mitzvot. Put it there, and thanks so much, Ram. So Mimi, it's amazing to be chilling here with you and to be chatting about slavery and freedom. Okay, so what is the difference between a slave and a master and a parent or teacher relationship?
I feel like even though there are rules and we're not allowed to wear a pink shirt, for example, at school, we still have freedom. We can wear our uniform how we want in a way.
But you're still wearing a uniform. So why, this is the real question, why would your parents and your teachers make you do something? Who are they doing that for?
They're doing it for us.
And what's a master and a slave in the traditional 46 million people, or Pharaoh and Jewish people? Who are they doing it for?
Them.
Themselves. And I think that's the fundamental difference. You see, actually, rules are a good thing. It's not slavery in that sense. It's actually a good thing because real rules liberate us. Real rules allow us to be free. If you didn't have a school and you didn't have rules from your parents, then you couldn't truly learn to become the person you want to become and then live that liberation in the broader sense. You can't play a good game of netball if you don't have outlines, if there's no goalposts. If there's no rules around it, you can't. So I think one of the things that Pesach forces us to do is to think actually the value of freedom in a framework. If you don't feel you're a slave to anything, would you go to a party on a Saturday night with a massive sombrero and with an awesome kind of poncho from Mexico?
So going out of the party theme, basically.
The party theme is just smart casual, all your friends are going, would you wear those clothes?
To be honest, no. I don't think I would go out of the box.
Why not?
I reckon I wouldn't feel comfortable and I would want to just... Maybe I'm a sheep in that kind of way. I'm just following what everyone else is doing.
But most of us are, so you don't have to feel bad for it. I don't think I would either.
Yeah.
In Mexico, people might.
Maybe in Mexico, but not in Sydney,
And
Bondi
they might
Beach.
think it's weird to dress how you dress there. But
Yeah.
in that kind of situation, probably. But then the question is, if we're not slaves to anything, what is the Pharaoh of today? Now, maybe for some people it's fashion.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people it's a phone. Maybe for some people it's many different things. Now, it's not like the dishes, it's not like Pharaoh whipping you from without. But this is a Pharaoh from within. This is something about being comfortable with ourselves. Now, it's fine if you don't want to be with your phone if you actively decide that.
Yes.
It's fine if you don't want to wear a sombrero if you actively decide it.
Yeah.
But the question is, how much is there pressure from without, that is our outside masters?
Putting on us.
Exactly, and how much do we decide from within?
Wow, I've never thought of that.
So
It's such a good question.
So I think it's a nice question that we can discuss at our own Seder tables.
Yes.
And I think what's most important is for us to question that. Okay, Rabbi, well, we've spoken to a number of different people about what slavery and freedom is. But I want to take a step back because you're the master out of our different levels. And I want to ask you as a rabbi, what is it you think that people are scared about when it comes to being religious or to following the Torah?
Well, I think what scares most people, and it's not just people who aren't religious, people who are religious as well, the biggest struggle is growth. People going out of themselves, freeing themselves from themselves.
So it's funny, you dive straight into freedom. That's what we're talking about today.
Oh.
But how do you actually do that? How do you free yourself from yourself? It sounds like a paradox.
Growth is interesting. You can have incremental growth, where you grow within the context of your paradigm, so you never really grow. Freedom is about growing beyond your paradigm, getting out of yourself, doing something that's hard, picking an area where you know that you should be engaging in, but it's against your personality. We have the freedom to choose to do that.
So that's beautiful and that's very powerful, and we've sort of thought about those ideas. But I want to take it one little step further. You know, the question is, what do they do with that freedom? And I think ultimately the irony is that we're never truly free, but we have to choose what we want to be servants to or what we want to serve. Ultimately, we always want to serve something bigger than ourselves, serve a cause, serve a goal, and that's what we all try to do. But the ultimate thing that has no limit, even beyond a cause, is God Himself. And therefore, if we can attach ourselves to God and even be a servant of God, what it forces us to do is be limitless ourselves. And I think that's the idea of Hasidism, that's the idea of Dveikut, that's the idea ultimately that we're trying to get to in the Pesach Seder, is to go from the Pharaoh of Pharaoh to the Pharaoh of ourselves, but ultimately to God. Because once we connect to the limitless, our potential becomes limitless in and of itself.
That's very beautiful, and that's why growth is an ongoing journey, because it's infinite, because God is infinite. Therefore, the freedom of today is the slavery of tomorrow. So when we go out of our comfort zone, we get used to that, we become complacent. It's time to take the next step again.
Beautiful. So our people have been going on that journey for over 3,000 years.
Absolutely.
We should continue on that journey. And even, yourself, a master of this, every year, all of us need to take that extra step.
Everyone.
Amazing. So, Chag Sameach, and I hope we can have that opportunity.
You too.
Thank you.